Wouldn't it be nice if we could just feel confident all the time? Instead of having these extreme highs followed by extreme lows, this roller coaster of self-deprecation on the one hand and hubris on the other. And when we feel so amazing holding on to it, but already feeling it slip through our fingers until that low comes. If we want to achieve that sort of blissful state where we are just ourselves powerfully all the time, then we have to go a little deeper than we usually do. Then we have to talk about how the ego works without going into the full explanation. That's for a video that will soon be released on my channel. But as you can see, is that our natural state, the self, essentially what we truly are. But then around it, we have built these layers, and together they make up for the ego. Where our confusion begins is with the negative belief. The negative belief fundamentally says, I am not good enough. And for you, that might be, I am not rich enough, I'm not strong enough, whatever the case may be. These layers are built on top of that illusion, because it is an illusion. Essentially, we are consciousness, we are awareness, a true combination of altruism and creativity, empathy, love, strength. Because that illusion of us not being good enough manifested itself around it, we built all these layers of behaviors and thinking on top of it to disprove the fact that we are not good enough, which is an illusion. So we're basically running around in this circle for no fucking reason at all. And when we talk about confidence, as you can probably confirm, if you have fulfilled the requirements of being good enough and you're validated by your external world, then you're on this high in the roller coaster. But then inevitably there will come a point where the world around you is telling you that you're not good enough. And there you go again, start doubting yourself, limiting yourself, and with that start acting less confident. The problem is this: when we are in this high, we are tempted to identify with it. For example, you get your first sale in your business, you are tempted to say you're the fucking man. You are now the successful entrepreneur, right? And you start walking around in that way, and that feels good until you start doubting the fact that you are the successful entrepreneur type. And that moment will inevitably come if we play the game. For example, you go 1 month or 2 months without making a sale. Now you are suddenly thinking, hey, I'm not the business guy. And because that feels uncomfortable, we want to dissociate. It is exactly those two things. It's the identification with the highs and the disassociation with the lows that is having you acknowledge that you are not good enough. Because both identifying with how good you are and disassociating with how bad you are is evidence that you are trying to prove yourself that you are good enough, right? Because if you would be good enough, and you are, frankly, then you wouldn't have to identify with any highs or get rid of any lows. And that brings us to the way forward, to the solution. This is not a 3 tips to be eternally confident kind of video. This is a life path, and I'm doing my best to outline that life path for you. As I'm on it myself, it's not the point to get this immediately right. It's the point to do this a little better every day, and you'll get to reap the rewards of that incrementally as you are able to do that. So the path forward is integration, not identification, not disassociation, but integration. Observing it, letting it go. When you receive thoughts, which by the way, you are not those thoughts, these are just external things that you receive. Same goes for emotions. When you experience those things, it's going to be hard to not disassociate, push, fight those away. But if you can, and just say, nah, I don't have to engage in this conversation with myself as to why I am good enough and how I'm gonna get rid of this trait that I have. Instead of doing that, to just kind of laugh at it, just to observe it happening and let it go. And you'll see that it will come back less and less and less. If you do fight it, if you do disassociate, You acknowledge that you are not good enough, and therefore it will come back stronger. These thoughts will come back stronger and stronger. Same with identification. You're proving yourself. See, I feel so great. I'm doing so great in my business. I must be great. I am definitely good enough for these reasons, for these requirements that I fulfilled. Again, in doing so, trying to prove yourself that you are good enough. In the same way, inviting these lower thoughts, this lack of confidence, to come back even stronger in the future. So integration is the path forward. Let's say you are self-conscious about the fact that you're introverted and that you feel like you should be extroverted. Whatever might be the reasoning under it, you dislike the fact that you are introverted and you force yourself to be extroverted. In this subject, you're going to disassociate to you being introverted at times. And you're going to identify with the times where you were extroverted, creating the problem by yourself. And integration here would be enjoy the days where you are extroverted, observe it, take no less joy out of it, absolutely. But now just don't identify with it. Don't say, this is how I want to be, this is who I am. Just enjoy it. And on the next day when you are more introverted, do not reject yourself. Observe it, let it go. You don't have to push away the fact that today you spent the day more introverted. And you don't even have to identify with the fact that you are introverted. That was the experience of today, and that's it. So moving forward on this path of integration, I think the word confidence doesn't captivate the whole spectrum of benefits that will come your way as you go on this path. It makes you completely at peace with yourself, and you and I both know that people that have this aura of being totally okay with themselves, as they are introverted or extroverted, they do good or they do bad, it doesn't matter. They are just themselves, and this is really magnetic. This pulls people in. It would be an unfortunate mistake to look at all these other videos with 3 hacks to boost your confidence. It creates these highs, that's why these videos work, but it keeps the system in place. If you want to get to a place even beyond that, then you have to let go of this whole identification and disassociation and start integrating whatever is in the moment. There's no wrong path. You can still do whatever the fuck you want and it would be perfect, but just don't identify or disassociate with it, because this is rejecting yourself and you don't need to. You'll find something within you that is very, very pleasant, and I wish that for you. All the power to you, brother. Good luck. If you connected the way I think, then sign up for the newsletter. Every Sunday, this is where my content is released first, even before YouTube and other platforms. If that sounds interesting, click on the link in the description. And for now, that's about it, man. See you in the next one.